Morning students. So in your first lesson you have studied about everything about forces, correct? So initially it was explained about inertia, then Newton's first law, second law and third law. All the three laws explains you about forces. That is, first law explained you force based on inertia and its inertia of its types that you have studied. Then some basic concepts related to the force that you have studied, which is linear momentum and all such things. Then after that was Newton's second law. Newton's second law is called where it gave you an expression where F is equal to m into A. So applying this, we were able to prove that even linear momentum is also conserved. So for that only you again studied some basic concepts like your impulsive force and all such things where collision takes place. Then Newton's third law. Newton's third law says that always for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So combined of your Newton's first law and second law, you were able to come to a conclusion that conservation of linear momentum. Conservation says that there is no change. So even in linear momentum, whatever the algebraic sum of linear momentum before collision was equal to after collision. So there is no change in the linear momentum. Okay. So now moving on to the next topic of your lesson, which is gravitation. All would have come across this gravitation. In fact, every object is at rest, or you are able to walk with stability, or anything in the world is going to be at stable because of this gravitation only. At earth or in the earth, we are able to feel that any object falls down, correct? That is due to gravitation. But what Newton's found, what did Sir Isaac Newton found was there is a gravitation which is prevailing even in the universe also. You know what is universe? Universe is made up of, in 9th standard you have studied what is universe lesson was. It was all about your galaxies. So in every galaxy you have a sun and its planets and meteoroids and all comets and all such things. Out of this, and very amazing fact that all here, for example, what is dealt here is you have some mass of m1 which is in universe, m2 is also in universe, or for example this may be a sun and this may be the earth. So this prevails in universe, but it is not going to fall down. Why? So there arises the question, why that it is not going to fall down? Okay, so that only paved way for this Newton's law, which says that every particle in the universe attracts every other particle with a force. That force is going to be directly proportional to the masses, the product of the masses, and it is going to be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That is, if these two masses are heavier, then this force of attraction is also heavier. At the same time, if this distance increases, what happens? This R increases where F will get reduced. They both are inversely proportional to each other. So if you bring it closer, then R decreases where the force will get increased. Okay, and this is a vector quantity, we can come to know about it. So this force direction is along the line of the masses. This joining line you have, it acts according to that. So here I consider m1 and m2 to be the masses and r to be the distance apart. So I can write in an equation. Like always in physics, anything that you have written in statement is written in terms of some expression. So which can be written as F proportional to m1 into m2. And the next statement says it is inversely proportional to the square root of the distance. So what can I rewrite it as? F is in proportional to 1 by r square. I can combine these two and write F is proportional to m1 into m2 by r square. And in the earlier classes it is taught to you that in order to remove a proportionality sign, what should be introduced? An equal to sign is introduced by multiplying by n constant. So this proportionality sign changes to equal to, during that time you multiply by n constant g here. Okay. So what is the g? Capital G is nothing but the universal gravitational constant, and its value is so much, which is 6.674 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square, because here you have F is equal to G into m1 into m2 by r square. So if this G is taken in the left hand side, what happens? You take this one alone this side, and this side r square will come to the numerator and F will be there in the numerator. m1 and m2 will go to the denominator. So F is Newton unit, then you have r square, so you have meter square, then you have your m1 into m2, so kilogram into kilogram, but it is there in the denominator, so it is per kilogram square. Okay, so this is how even in the universe any particle is going to get attracted, and it is at its stable position. So acceleration due to gravity, this is very interesting chapter, children. Okay, that is all at your home. You all would have played even in your smaller ages, that you use a stone, throw the stone upstairs. What happens after reaching some height? It falls down. So like that, any particle in the earth, when you give a velocity, and if it is going to reach, what happens during that time is it reaches a maximum height. Okay, where after reaching this height it falls down. That is, after attaining an height, after that the velocity is going to be equal to the initial velocity, or the given velocity is going to be equal to 0. After that it starts falling down because there is a gravity, that is, it is pulled towards the earth. Correct? So that is what you all would have come across. So when it is going to get drifted towards the earth, what happens to the velocity? The velocity changes at every moment. So whenever there is a change in velocity, what it will lead? It will lead to acceleration. Okay, but this acceleration is only due to the force of attraction of the earth. There is a force which is pulling this particle towards the earth, because of which this velocity changes. So what can I call that as is that this acceleration due to gravity of the earth. It is denoted by g, and its unit is the same, meter per second square, and its average value is 9.8 meter per square. I will say why it is mean value later, but for time being you just learn it as mean value is 9.8 meter per second square. Okay. Now earlier we studied what is capital G, and now we have studied what is small g. So now we are going to learn about the relationship between small g and capital G. Small g is acceleration due to gravity, and capital G is universal gravitational constant. So what should I consider now? I am going to consider earth and some other object. Okay. So earth, mass of the earth is taken as capital M, and this is some object which has a mass of small m. And what we have studied, always there is a force of attraction. So force of attraction along its masses, okay, along its center of the masses. And this R, capital R, is nothing but the radius of the earth. These all are consideration. First, what we have studied, Newton's law of gravitation. What does it say is every particle in the universe attracts every object where it is that force is directly proportional to the two masses. So F is equal to G into capital M into small m, divided by, it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, which is r square. But what happened to this distance then? Isn't it? But when you compare the radius of the earth and this distance, this can be neglected. That is why that is not taken into account. Okay. And we have studied Newton's second law of motion, where this F, the force of attraction, that F is equal to m into A. And here what we have studied, this A is due to gravity of the earth. So this can be written as m into small g. Now this is also force of attraction, this is also force. So I can equate both and write it as mg is equal to gmm by r square, where this m and small m gets cancelled. So g is equal to gm by r square. What does this means is that this g, or acceleration due to gravity, is going to depend only upon the radius of that earth. Here, when I have considered it as earth, then it is inversely proportional to the radius of the earth, because based on this now we will continue the class how does this g varies. Okay. So before going to learn about variation of acceleration due to gravity, before that let us know what is mass of the earth is. We have arrived at one equation where it is stated as small g is equal to gm by r square. So from there m can be taken, m is equal to g into this r square will go to the right hand side in the numerator. So g into r square by g. So substituting all the known values here, the mass of the earth is found to be 5.972 into 10 power 24 kilograms. Mass of the earth is so huge. That is why that gravitational force you don't feel always when you are there. Okay. Now we will move on to variation of acceleration due to gravity. That is, first we have studied that this small g is going to be inversely proportional to the radius r. So I am going to consider r to be the geometric radius of the earth. Why am I considering it the geometric radius? Is that we all know that earth is not a circle. What earth is? Earth is tilted. A small flattened ends are there near its poles. So because of that, this r is maximum. This r is maximum at the equator, and it's smaller near the poles. It's minimum at the poles. So it's not a complete circle where radius will be equal in all the places, but it is not so. So now when you consider at its equatorial region, r is going to be the maximum. So here it says it is inversely proportional. So what will happen to the value of g? G will be minimum. Okay. And when you consider at its polar region, North Pole and South Pole, where you have Arctic and Antarctic circles, there what happens? It is minimum. The r value is minimum. So hence what will happen to g? G will attain its maximum value. Because of this only, we are going to consider only an average value. The mean value of g is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. Okay. Now what is the next factor? What should I consider? Is that at some altitude. What's the meaning of altitude? Where when you consider, or when flight travels, or for a very simple example, when you climb up a mountain. So mountain end, on the top of the mountain, what would have happened? Okay. So let that height be taken as h. So there again value of g decreases. When you climb the mountain, the acceleration due to gravity decreases. Then the next one, where I am going to consider some deep below, that is from the surface of the earth. If you are going to dig the earth, that is where you have mines. Have you come across mines? So what do they do is where minerals are, or the ore extraction takes place. There in the mines, it is where it is going to move deep into the earth. So there also g decreases. So only at the surface of the earth you have g, where the average value is 9.8. then you would have thought what would have happened at the center, of the earth. You know what is earth called as? Earth is called like it will be here when you go deep inside, in fact it will be very hot. So when G is equal to 0, there what happens? When at the center of the earth, G would have become to 0. Okay, the same you will study in your electricity lesson, where charges, even inside a surface like this, the charge, the electric field E will also be equal to 0. Here the value G is equal to 0 at the center of the earth. So this is how the G value varies accordingly. Now we'll learn about the differences between mass and weight. What is mass? Mass is nothing but defined as the quantity of matter contained in any object. That is what is called as mass. But this weight is nothing but by what amount any object is going to get drifted towards the earth due to gravitational force, by what means it is going to get drifted towards the earth. That is what is called as weight. That is, you have studied F is equal to m into G, right? So there its unit turns into kilogram meter per second square. So as such, like this, all the terms together is called as 1 Newton. So weight can be taken as, the SI unit of weight is considered as Newton, but wherein this mass alone, I am going to consider only the mass, so its SI unit is kilogram. And as G varies from place to place, because just now we have studied that near the equator it is different and at the poles it is different. So we conclude that G varies from place to place. So as G varies, what will happen to the weight? Weight will also vary, but mass will remain a constant always. Okay. So hence this is taken as vector quantity because it is force. It's equivalent to force. So this weight is a vector quantity. Naturally this will be a scalar quantity. And how will you find out? By what means that I am going to find out? Mass is nothing but using a common balance itself you can find out a mass. You would have come across in your 6th standard what is common balances, where there will be two, in the middle you will have some needle. So that shows you that it is both the sides are equal. But the spring balance, I don't know whether you would have come across the spring balance. Spring balance where you will have a spring and you will, when you hang and weight hanger, the spring will come down. So why it is coming down? It is coming down because of the gravitational force. So it is measured using spring balance. So this is what the difference between mass and weight. They both are not the same. The next topic called as apparent weight. Okay. So but what is this apparent? Says that actually there will not be a change, but you feel as if there is a change. That is what is called, this term called as apparent. In your 8th standard or in 7th standard, in your heat lesson you would have come across this apparent change. Okay. But how or where do you feel this apparent weight or change in weight? Is that when you get into a lift. Okay. There before starting your weight is the same. But when you are going to travel upwards, there is some change in your weight. You feel that you are light. Again when you travel down, that time also you feel that there is some change. Why does this takes place? Because this is what a man that I am going to consider. Suppose any object, a man is also going to have some weight. So there is a force acting downwards, which is m into g. And we have studied that always whenever there is a action, there will be a reaction to it, which is R, which is going to act upwards. Okay, because of this only there seems to be as if there is a change in your weight when a person moves from one place, or whether if he is going to move upwards or downwards. This is because of which even when astronauts fly to the moon or somewhere, you see them flying, yes. So there is some change in its weight. You feel as if there is a change in its weight. But astronauts, when they fly, there are some more concepts or some more things behind it also. But one among that is this apparent weight also. So you have understood that weight of the body will have force, and always there will be an R which is acting upwards. So they both are opposite to each other. So this apparent weight is nothing but R, okay, which depends on the motion of the lift, whether it is going to go upwards or downwards. About this in deeper we will learn in the next class. Okay.